This week on the podcast, you know what the difference is between other podcasts and us? We make this look good. This week we watch Men in Black, and you're listening to Geeked Out.
Popcorn in our hands, ready for the show. From the classics to the blockbusters, we're always in the know. Throwing references like confetti, we keep it real. Geeked Out Podcast, we make you feel. We're the critics you can trust.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Geeked Out. My name is Kyle.
And Juan here, or Agent J, as I will be known for today.
Oddly enough, that would make me Agent K.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, is that why he picked this?
No,
For the fucking
but it
agent?
kind of worked out that way.
I know, right? I was thinking that too. I was like, damn, that does work perfect.
I did too as I was watching the movie. As soon as they're like Agent J, and I went, "Oh fuck, wait a minute."
It fits like a glove.
Well, as you heard, like I said, we are doing Men in Black. This is the first episode in our what we're calling our duo or pairs series. This was my choice, and I don't know. I had a lot of different ideas of what I wanted us to cover. Oddly enough, this movie actually wasn't on my radar until maybe an hour or so before we recorded our last episode, and it just kind of popped in my head, and I said to myself, of course we'll do Men in Black. Like, this is, I'm sure it was for you as well as it was for me, just an absolute staple of our childhoods and all of our friends that we grew up with.
Oh yeah, this movie had the world in a chokehold when it first came out. But just before it came out, when we started hearing about it and it started with the marketing and whatnot, and then when the movie came out, it just, like I said, it caught the world in a chokehold. And yeah, man, uh, definitely for that summer, it was all about Men in Black. That's for sure.
I mean, it's really funny. We talked about earlier. We did our month of our series on Jim Carrey, and we talked about how big he had that year of 1994 where he had those movies. This was kind of right in the middle of Will Smith's big foray into Hollywood movies. Like, he had Bad Boys, into Independence Day, into this, into Enemy of the State, into what else? We won't talk about that.
Hey, I like that movie. But yeah, he had quite a run there, and it was Independence Day that he was coined the phrase Mr. Blockbuster or Mr. January or something like
July.
that. Mr. July, January. How am I thinking? Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant July. Mr. July.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Definitely, if you watch this movie and see his full-on ability displayed here, man. He was charming. He acted great. Yeah, there's a reason why he was a big deal in the '90s.
Well, what's funny is I was doing some reading, and actually, originally he wasn't sure if he wanted to do this movie for the simple reason that he just came off of Independence Day, and he was like,
Oh, the Alien.
it was just like when Kevin Costner did like Bull Durham and Field of Dreams back to back. Like, I don't know if I want to do another movie where it's the same thing. Like, with Costner, obviously it was baseball. With this, he's like, I don't know if I want to do two Alien movies back to back. Like, but I don't know. I don't know if he just kept reading the script or was convinced somehow. But yeah, thankfully he did it. And even Tommy Lee Jones originally didn't want to do this movie unless they changed the script up a little bit, and obviously they changed it enough that he agreed to come on. And I mean, on paper, these two don't really mash up all that well, but there's some kind of magic there that when the two of them are on screen together, there's this chemistry of partners and friendship, and it's something that you wouldn't expect if you hadn't seen them interact in this movie before.
Yeah, they're like a crazy odd couple that works. You have the straight man, the old, almost burnt out Agent K, and then you have the young, spry comedic, more improv-y type actor in, Will Smith, Agent J. And yeah, man, it's a great opposite pairing that some, with other actors, if it was a different actor, it might have not have worked. But for here, it just worked. It fit very well, man. They were really able to play off each other in a very entertaining way, where not any of them uh, it feels like a genuine partnership.
Yeah, they're basically. I've kind of thought for years they're basically just like if Riggs and Murtaugh, if it was like Lethal Weapon versus Aliens, because it's the same type of dichotomy. You've got the, like you say, you've got the old grizzled veteran and the young cocky loudmouth, and it's the same kind of dynamic. I mean, obviously it's a trope, and the reason it's a trope is because it works. But again, the two of them on paper are so opposite. Actually, I think this is one of the first, aside from his ridiculous maniacal laughter in Batman Forever. This might be one of the first movies I can think of off the top of my head where you actually watch Tommy Lee Jones smile and laugh.
Right? And act a little bit like a fool for, even if it was like for a couple seconds, he kind
Yeah.
of does. But yeah, and yeah, I mean the buddy cop opposite odd couple trope was scattered throughout the 80s and 90s and still sparingly used today. Uh, but what relies on actually working is the chemistry, man. And there's so many examples of pairings that you would think would work, but did not work in a lot of these buddy cop type pairings. And for this one,
Yeah.
it worked. And the fact that they used that as the foundation and added another layer that being a sci-fi buddy cop was uh was unique enough to draw a lot of interest in people to see it.
Yeah, and like you say, the sci fi element, I mean, I probably would have watched this movie if it was just a regular, like, police procedural buddy cop movie, but to add in the sci-fi element put it right up my alley because, like, growing up I was always a big Star Wars fan. I even got into, my uncle got me really into Star Trek, especially Next Generation as well. So, and then you've got things like Alien and all those other types of movies that have to deal with sci-fi. So to put this in that realm for me right at this time was just picture perfect for me for this movie. Now, before we get into the details of the movie, um, where did you, was this a theater going experience for you? I know it wasn't for me.
Yeah, for sure. This definitely was a theater going experience. One of the things that me and my father and my family would do, not every weekend, but a lot of weekends, was to go to a theater if there was a good movie playing. Yeah, that's a lot of good times that we had at the theater there. Yeah, this was a theater experience for us. I don't know if it was just me and my father or me and my mom and my dad. I'm not too sure, but this definitely was a theater experience.
Yeah, I didn't see this movie in theaters. I know that. This would have been a blockbuster rental for me. I know you and I discussed after we went off air for our last episode. I did see the second one in theaters it was a double feature with Spider-Man 2, which what a pairing, number one.
Ooh,
But no, this was a rental and a multiple a multiple time rental, and I'm almost positive we eventually ended up buying this and had it on VHS, and it just got put into the regular rotation. I mean, I know we had this, and I vividly remember we had the hologram covered Independence Day as well.
oh
So
yeah.
both of those movies were in big heavy rotation in my house when I was growing up.
I bet if you could get the numbers of like how many North American people own this DVD or VHS, either the first or the second one at some point, I bet you it'd be like very high
I
percentage.
I'd say probably between 70 to 80% or higher.
Yeah, because it's just one of those movies that everyone at some point owned, even if you don't even realize you bought it. That shit just ended up in your collection,
Yeah.
just because it's such an iconic movie, man. At least the first one. The second one is it's enjoyable. Uh, third one, let's not talk about it, even though it's okay. Um,
Hey, I prefer the third one to the second one.
it, yeah, I mean, in certain parts for
And
sure, but overall,
the main thing I like is I love. I mean, I'm always a sucker for things like time travel as well, but I also love the idea of Josh Brolin as a young Tommy Lee Jones, and he plays it like absolutely spot on.
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'll give him that. That part for sure was the more enjoyable aspect of the third one, but I like the second one for reasons that aren't Rosario Dawson. But the
I'm
first
not
one
saying
is
I'm not saying I dislike the second one.
no,
I'm
you just
not.
like the
I'm.
second more.
I just prefer the third. For me, it goes 1, 3, 2.
Okay, okay. I'd say in the way the order of release is how I rank them. And then let's not bring in the stepchild. It might
As
be
you say, international is a very distant four.
I don't even know what you're talking about. It's not,
That that movie can be a rough watch.
oh man, I would rather and like, well, man, yeah, I don't even want to talk about that, man. But yeah, the first one was to me even like compared to the second one. The first one, I don't know if it was a budget thing or the switch from like the way they shot the film, the cameras that they use, but this one compared to the second one, I felt like they used more practical effects and it felt more like I don't know, like gritty or practical, just practical overall than the sequel, which is why I much enjoy the first one more than the sequels, just because
Yeah.
they didn't rely on CGI other than the sequels, and that just could have been a budget thing. I think, they in the first one they probably had a modest budget and they used it to the best of their ability, and it was great, especially with
Oh,
the opening scene. I feel like with that one alien, when you saw it, when it was a practical alien, it looked amazing. And
yeah.
then when it switched to CG, it was like instantly dated it and it took me out.
It's not that modest of a budget. I'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, I think so. This one coming out of '97, and then the second one in '02, especially during because at this time we hadn't been treated to the all CGI Star Wars movies that really got that green screen
Yeah.
technology underway. Thank you, George Lucas. But
Yeah, and yeah, there's a big change in how movies looked.
absolutely, so yeah, this movie does have a lot more practical effects. I found it really makes a difference if you watch this one to the second one back to back. There are glaring differences in terms of the quality of what you're seeing on screen. Not saying that I'm against CGI, but what I am against is movies using it as a crutch.
And there's two other movies that I've noticed that with too, Blade and The Matrix. Those two movies, when you see the first one compared to the second one, it's the exact same thing as we're talking about now. I don't know if it's they had a bigger budget and they were relying more on CG and the fact that the green screen renaissance came in at that time, but there's a glaring difference in just how the movie looks. And it's
Yeah, it's a big thing that you really can see in films at the end of the '90s to early 2000s.
Mhm.
So let's get into this one a little bit. So as I said, we were doing Men in Black. This movie originally was released July 7th of 1997, almost an exact year after Independence Day. Crazy enough. Now you said modest. It had a budget of 90 million, but it had a worldwide box office return of 589.3 million in '97. That's huge.
That's very good.
Now,
Very well. That's very good. And the budget's not modest, but it's not like over the top insane.
no,
They
not at
they
all.
and they definitely used. their budget very well.
Yeah,
Because some of the creatures, the practical effects of some of these aliens were amazing, and it's mainly why this movie holds up is for that. When you see the practical effects and aliens interacting with the actors.
yeah, it really does make a big difference.
Hmm.
So the movie currently is sitting at a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb. The critics of the Tomato Meter have it at 91%, and the fans on the Popcorn Meter have it at 80%. The movie was directed by Barry Sonnenfeld and was written by Ed Solomon, based on the Marvel comic created and written by Lowell Cunningham.
I knew it was a comic. I didn't realize it was a Marvel comic.
Well, we'll get into that in a minute. It's a comic in quotes, I'll say. But the movie stars Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, Vincent D'Onofrio, Linda Fiorentino, and Rip Torn. A New York City cop is hired by Agent K, a, who is a member of a secret government agency that monitors extraterrestrial life on Earth. Together, they must recover an item that has been stolen by an intergalactic villain. Now, first off, I will say I looked into the comic book a little bit. I wasn't able to get my hands on a copy like I was for The Mask. Now, when I said comic book in quotes, it's a one-off. It's a one-shot miniseries. It's only 6 issues.
Hmm.
It came out in January of 1990 and May of 91. And the difference is, I was looking it up and it says, so obviously the movie is just about aliens, whereas the comic book derives from they're an international agency which oversees and investigates both good and evil paranormal activity on Earth, including alien life, demons, mutants, zombies, werewolves, vampires, and other legendary creatures. So it's almost like they're an agency that combines the X-Files with Supernatural, is what it seems like.
Yeah, I bet you. I wouldn't doubt that that series was an inspiration, huge inspiration for the comic book series.
Now, I will say that if they would have made the movie like that in all of those different entities, it would have felt way too busy and jumbled and confusing and convoluted, and just I'm really glad that they went, and even regardless of which one they picked, I'm glad they just said we're just going to focus on one element and that's how it's going to be.
It's a smart choice.
Now, I was surprised when this came across the screen. I did not realize that Steven Spielberg was an executive producer on this movie. I didn't know he even had a hand in it in any way, shape, or form.
You know, damn well he didn't. It was at that time when he was just slapping his name on stuff. He might have had the smallest little insight into it when asked by, the director probably asked him a question or something. And because he gave such little just the bare minimum advice or just a quick tip or something. Granted that title and that name, and it was really just so that his name was on there, and his name had major credibility at that time.
Well, but didn't you see him in the movie?
Oh, was he in that? Was he in the movie?
So we're going to skip forward a little bit when Kay brings Jay to MIB the first, like after he's hired, whatever, he does the whole recruiting thing, and they show the screen and there's all these people who are
Oh,
aliens.
okay.
So some of the aliens on the screen
Was one of
are,
them George Lucas?
so there's Al Roker, Danny DeVito, Barry Sonnenfeld, the director, his daughter, Sylvester Stallone,
Yeah. I don't know.
Dionne Warwick, Newt Gingrich, Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas.
I noticed George Lucas. That's all I was focusing on because I know like Sylvester Stallone and whatnot, but I once because I never noticed uh, George Lucas before, so
Yeah,
that's where my focus was when I was
I,
watching that scene.
I had it confused. I think it's the second one. the Michael Jackson cameo. I always thought that was in the first movie.
Oh, really? No, no, yeah, yeah. Agent M,
Come on, Zed. I could be Agent M.
which I have a man. How does that work?
There can
How
be
does that
20.
work?
There can
You're
only
only
be
26?
26. No, because I think it's the second, maybe even the third as well. They show that there are some agents that are like Agent BB or AA or so. I really don't know how it works. Like, I'm assuming it's not just 26, but fuck if I know. It's not really something they go
Yeah, just one
into
of
an
the
explanation.
yeah. If I one of the only the few critiques I have of this movie is just some of the big questions that I have involving some of the practicality of how this movie works. I mean, the in the world itself, um, especially when like you're trying to be an agent and you're recruited. Like, how does that work when you're wiped off of existence? How does that work with your friends and family?
I mean, they kind of explained at the end. They kind of explained at the end and almost say that it's almost like they're saying that Kay had been. People are told that he was in a coma for like 35 years, but
But yeah, I mean, sure, sure.
now, now I wanted to start off with this whole big opening scene. First of all, the whole flying through the air lasts way too long, in my opinion. But I did find it kind of funny that they do it where if there's literally a guy who's transporting quote unquote illegal aliens, wink wink, across the border, and one of them happens to be an actual alien. And I've got to give recognition to the driver of the van, Uncle Rico himself.
Oh yeah, I wrote that in my notes.
This is probably right after he would have won state.
Yeah, yeah, that was right after.
And
He needs the money.
and when I was a kid, when they show up, like the Men in Black, I had no real idea what Tommy Lee Jones was doing in terms of like speaking Spanish to all of them. Aside from the fact that they were Mexican, I didn't realize he was trying to suss out who was the one who didn't speak Spanish.
Yeah,
But
really.
obviously, no, when I was a kid, I mean, this came out I was 11, so I was just kind of like not really paying much attention to that. But obviously, it's very clear what he's trying to do, and his partner Stan Lee. God, that guy, he reminded. As soon as he came on screen, I was like, put a pair of aviator sunglasses on him, and he's Stan Lee.
I mean, god damn, man. First of all right, you're a field agent? You're on the field right now, sir. How old are you? How old are you,
Yeah, he looked like he was about
man?
75.
What are you doing here? Because
Well, apparently they don't retire agents unless they choose to be retired.
I guess, but I feel like if the fate of the unit or your world is on the hands of these agents and their performance on the field, you'd probably take someone not in their 80s or
Yeah, I would think so.
late 70s. But again, one of those things that it's just the how some of the logic when it comes to the organization and how it works is my real only critique of this movie.
Well, my other thing was, and it was the writers did it in a way where it was super convenient because even when Tommy Lee Jones is explaining, he says there's roughly about 1,500 aliens on Earth at any given moment, and he's like, most of them are right here in Manhattan. Well, isn't that convenient that that's where your headquarters is, and almost everyone you have to police is right on your doorstep?
And that would make sense because this is a Marvel, well, not known at the time if you had no idea, if because it didn't really flash that it was a Marvel property. A lot of Marvel properties, everything usually happens in New York. So it's a
Yeah, but those are
pretty,
also individual villains. He's saying there's 1,500, and all of them happen to settle in one city on a planet where they're at the time were what 6 billion people.
Yeah. I mean, they did establish the backstory of the aliens landing and them doing that, and all that's happened to be in New York. I guess they just set like a perimeter and a grid, and that's only where the aliens can be. I mean, again, it's one of those things where I don't. Earth is a big place. You would think there would be more places for the aliens to go, and how are they? You know what I mean? Like, how are they gonna watch? You would think it would be a much larger. They would be permitting the entire Earth at all times, and they would be aliens that are all over the planet as well.
Well, and that's kind of what Men in Black International touches on. But yeah, for this movie, it was just like, yep, they're all right here. Just think of it that way. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I
But
mean, it's a clean cut way to say it, but again, they don't have time to explain it or to get into bigger themes and all that, so they just.
well, and that's another thing with this movie right from the get go, it hits the ground running because as you were saying, you get this first alien that's hiding out with these illegal aliens as they're crossing the border, and yeah, it's the practical effect. It looks fantastic. It, I think, I believe it was Rick Baker that did the makeup and the prosthetics and whatnot, and I believe he actually won an Academy Award. It was the only Academy Award won by this movie, and it was absolutely deserved.
Oh yeah, just for like the first Alien alone, and it looked amazing. A lot of detail. It looked real, even though it's like it's like an animatronic puppet looking thing, and or just a person in a suit or something. I don't know what was going on there.
Well, we came a long way from the fucking turtles.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, every time was the practical alien, it looked amazing. It was great. And then, when it went to the CG, yeah, it
Even, well,
dated
even
the movie a
going
lot. It didn't hold up at all. It doesn't, the CG does not hold up much. Maybe,
no.
oh, no, no, no.
So I mean, some of it does, but it not the
Some of it,
majority.
but
But
not, yeah, I agree.
I will say immediately you go from that to the high speed foot chase with I almost said Will Ferrell, with Will Smith chasing this guy through New York and his very, I mean, iconic ad libbed line when he jumps onto the bus.
Oh, yeah.
Jumps on the tour bus. He goes, it just be raining black people in New York. But I mean, right off the bat, you get adrenaline chase. There's obviously something about this guy. He fucking scales the outside of a building while grunting and
Yeah,
snarling.
I mean, I don't know if Will Smith's character is just that brave and courageous and just wants to get, I mean, and always has to get his man type of cop. But if I see
I'm
anybody
out. I'm out.
starts climbing a wall like Spider-Man, I call for backup. I'm calling for backup because I'm not
Back
going to be
up.
able to take this thing
Back up. I'm going to the nearest bar and fucking pulling up a stool.
up. Yeah, yeah, or something, or church or something, because I can't believe what I just seen with my eyes. If that's what I seen. Yeah.
Yeah, and he obviously goes up the guy. The vertical blinking, that looked really cool.
I remember it looking cool when I seen it, like back when I was a kid.
Yeah, and I mean, all it is he chases this guy down. Guy jumps. Immediately, we're back in the police station. He's getting kind of railroaded. And
Okay,
Tommy
can
Lee
I?
Jones. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. What happened to him? Did he die?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he just jumped
I
off the building.
Because when I was like when I was younger when I watched this, I always thought he just got away.
No, because he
But he gets pulled in by his boss and he was asking questions. I didn't put two and two together.
yeah, he's being asked questions, and one of the patrol officers he kind of insinuates, or maybe you pushed him off the roof, and that's kind of where they have their little disagreement yelling match type thing. But yeah, immediately hit his boss walks out. He's like, "I'm going to give you a minute to think." In walks Tommy Lee Jones. All right, let's go. You think you can identify the weapon you saw? Out we go, and we're on our way. And because of the depth of this agency and the secretiveness of this agency, he's like, "Oh, I got to do this. I got to do paperwork." Go, "Oh yeah, it's all done." Somehow we did it for you in the 5 seconds that I've been in this room.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to always be a step ahead.
Yeah. Now, I do love when they go to the pawn shop with Tony Shalhoub and Will Smith. He is so confident that he is the one in charge. And Tommy Lee Jones is just like, kind of rolling his eyes like, "Yep, you do what you got to do. I'm just going to wait here and watch you make a fool of yourself." Like, and Will Smith, no, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to put my thing down. And he's like, "Yep, you go ahead, go do that. I'll be in there in a minute."
Yeah, because Tommy Lee Jones
he knows what's really going on.
He's seen it all. Yeah, he's seen it all. He already knows, and he already knows what's going to happen. And Will Smith is just entering this world, and he's so naive and ignorant, and brash and confident, and he's definitely gonna try and take charge until he sees some weird shit.
But that's what makes it good, because like I say, he goes in, he's so positive and he's in charge, and then they go in and Kay's saying like, "I want you to show us the imports or the secret items," whatever. Shoots him, and immediately Will Smith pulls a gun on him like, "You just murdered a guy," not realizing his head is about to grow back because, surprise, surprise, he's another alien.
Yeah, curious on how his species works.
All I know is he says, "If you don't give me what I want, I'm going to shoot you where it doesn't grow back." And I think we all know what that is. So he's like, "Yep, here's everything you're looking for. I'm good."
But yeah, because when Tommy Lee Jones threatens you, no matter what role he plays in a movie, you take that with some earnesty, man. He'll fucking shoot you.
Yeah, and, I mean, obviously he wants Will Smith to join the group, the organization. And I love this whole. It's not really a montage, but it's like the whole recruiting scene with all the military guys.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for the best of the best of the best,
obvious,
sir.
Yeah, with honors.
With honors.
Yeah, and you could tell that they were just there.
They're going through the motions, almost like they were being like, "Yeah, we're doing our due diligence. We know who we're gonna bring on, but we're kind of doing our due diligence in looking at everybody."
Yeah, we're gonna take the guys that look good on paper, but we're also gonna take this wild card, even though our decision is the wild card already, and that's what we're really looking at. So we're kind of giving these guys, making them feel like they have a chance, but we're really just focusing on the wild card. And oh boy, he definitely stands out throughout this entire ordeal.
Number one, those chairs, those fucking egg chairs look so uncomfortable.
Yeah, and only more uncomfortable when you don't have a table to write things on.
Write this test.
And again, like, is it a test? Was the test that they were taking a test of their intelligence? Because obviously they're intelligent. They're top of the field in their military rank.
I think again it was all just like a dog and pony show. Like you said, we've already made our decision, but we have to go through these. It has to seem like we're going through the actual art of testing someone, so it's just formalities.
Yeah, because they would have brought up. I feel like Will Smith was the right call to pull the table to him so he can write it down, because no one else did. Because it was like, why wouldn't they just put him in a room with desks? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
that probably was a part of it, but I will say
layer of testing.
The fucking Foley work of the sound people on this movie. That table, I had to almost mute my TV. It was so loud.
Yeah.
But not even the best part is when he goes to open his test and it's literally he's ripping a sticker and snaps his pencil in two.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that he's trying to write, like, He then tries to write with it while holding it where it's broken, as if he has to write with the whole thing.
Yeah, which is probably, an idea. Will Smith, is improv. It's definitely it's showcasing his improv skills because they probably shot this, 10 or 15 times, different ways, and this was the one that they went with. That probably was definitely something that Will Smith came up with in that moment.
Yeah. I mean, as enjoyable as that is, I love the scene with the cutouts of the aliens and the guns and his explanation for shooting little Tiffany.
Again, I think, was it a real test to test their aim, or because I think Will Smith had a point. I
I
mean, like MJ,
agree.
like his character, he's had a big point. And when you look at Zed's face, it's almost like he smiles, like a little bit of a
Yeah.
smirk, like he was happy that he made that choice because it was probably the right choice.
But I just love when he comes in and it's such dry delivery, like, oh, what happened? Edwards hesitated, and then he just goes, would you please explain to us why little Tiffany deserved to die? And I just love, oh, this guy's just doing just doing sit-ups. How would I feel if somebody came in the gym busting my ass while I'm on the treadmill?
Right? And the snarling guy
He's sneezing.
Exactly. Then you see this white girl, and at night,
This little 8-year-old white girl in the ghetto with quantum physics books. She's about to start some shit, Zed.
Exactly. I would be scared to death if I seen that. Where's your parents? Why do you have those books? Why? Yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
it's
he made the right call. He killed the actual threat.
and fucking dead center shot too.
He brags about it.
But yeah, this is where you kind of go into he's being offered the job, and it's like, if you join us, you will sever every human contact you have ever made anywhere, ever. And the way Tommy Lee Jones delivers that line, like, you can tell there's weight behind it. Like, this is serious. But you're right. How would you justify that?
Now, are they finding every close friend and relative you have and then neuralizing them?
Maybe.
That's the only thing I can think of. They're just neuralizing everybody who's ever really known you.
Yeah, because I don't know what else you would do.
Because what about your coworkers? Like, you're not missing. There's not missing persons, and there would be you know what I mean?
No, Tommy Lee Jones just hits backspace and everything's gone.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I just wish in this movie being like 98 minutes.
And we're probably gonna talk longer than the movie.
It doesn't have time to explain these things,
No.
which would have made the movie more enjoyable because they set up this world with in a very good way that I want to know more and how this world works. Not every little detail, but enough to where
it makes sense.
Yeah, pretty much. And
yeah, I agree with that.
I didn't get that much. And again, that's really my only critique. It's just the logic of how this world works. We didn't really get a good enough explanation.
No, basically, the explanation you get is if you accept, you have no contacts in the world except for people who work for MIB. And every single day you have to wear a black suit with a white shirt and black tie. That's literally all you know about this world and what they do.
And they have technology and they're just given technology with no training or information on how this thing works, really.
Yeah.
Weapons, to be exact.
Now, I will say the one thing that has always been burned into my brain, and every time I watch it, it gets like a visceral reaction out of me, is when they burn off his fingerprints. Because
you could feel it. Just how he set it up and how he reacts.
And I'm sorry, but if someone is burning off my fingerprints, I'm probably yelling a lot more than he does. Just that little, ow! I'd be fucking screaming.
Yeah.
But they burn him off. No scar tissue. No
It's
first
alien
aid
technology.
required.
Hey, alien technology, you can get away with that shit. And like, I love the technology that they had in this movie, man. Just the look of it.
Yeah, it looked very sleek.
Yeah, man. And it makes whoever designed. I don't know if it's the exact same designs from the comic book, but whoever did those designs is great, man. It's like almost an old school technology, but also advanced at the same time.
Yeah, there's something very unique about the way that the way they make this world look.
Mm-hmm. And you want to know more about it, which is a sign of a well-built world. But also, like, if you're not giving that information, it also, it gives you a couple less points on your product. You don't
Yeah.
give proper explanation.
Now, while all this is going on, we are introduced to the villain of the movie, who, to me, absolutely steals the show of this entire movie.
Yeah.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, he definitely is one of the standout performances.
Oh, he's phenomenal in this movie.
And yeah, I mean, he's a little bit of everything. He's both funny, but not in like an intentional way, just because he's a fucking alien that's trying to take over Earth, or just on a mission to find this thing, and all the stuff that come out of that. But also, he's terrifying when you see him in his bug form.
Well, and what he committed to this role, so apparently Vincent D'Onofrio, to prepare for this, watched all different kinds of documentaries on insects and like bugs, and to get an idea of how they kind of moved and behaved. And once he becomes the bug, he actually wore knee braces that prevented him from bending his knees, so that it would kind of add to the effect of, because this thing obviously isn't a human or humanoid, it's wearing a suit of his skin. So it's like it probably wouldn't know how to walk properly. So he did that to add to the character. And I think it worked really well, because the way that he committed to it is actually quite admirable. And he pulled it off phenomenally.
You don't see Vincent D'Onofrio. You believe that this is a alien wearing a human skin. So yeah, man, that was a really good performance.
Now, I don't know if you realize this. I didn't know this when I was younger, and I actually probably don't know if I would have noticed it too much unless I had learned about this. So as the movie goes on, his skin, especially this on his face, becomes more and more decayed as the movie goes, which I thought was a really interesting detail.
I like noticed but didn't give any mind to it when I was a kid, because once at the very end, before he sheds the skin, becomes the full blown alien. He looks nasty, and I remember him looking real nasty before that. But I didn't put two and two together that it was because the skin that he was wearing was decaying. I didn't really put that together until my rewatch recently.
And it's funny because
brilliant detail.
Well, it's also when they set up his character before you even see him, he is portrayed as an absolute piece of garbage.
Yeah, not the best. Out there, sure.
Like before you even see him, you can hear him complaining to his wife about, "Oh, I go to work and I want to come home to a steak dinner, and this looks like poison, like you're trying to kill me." And he even says a line. He says, "You skulk around here like a dog who's been hit too much or hasn't been hit enough." Like, really? Like, it just... So you don't feel too bad that he's the one who gets killed. I mean, you kind of feel bad for her, but also as soon as he becomes the bug, the voice that he that comes out of his mouth, it sounds nothing like Vincent D'Onofrio, but it's so iconic to this character.
It sounds like 10% Vincent D'Onofrio, and you could tell he put in so much work to get to that 10%. Because, yeah, man, that to sound alien and not yourself,
Yeah.
it's just it takes a lot of work, and
I mean,
it shows.
just when he walks in and she's like, "What the hell is that?" And he's like, "Sugar in water." And again, it's the also with the practical effects when he pulls the fucking skin on the back of his head. Like, I don't know if
It's a trailer moment, I think.
now I say practical. I don't know if they made a mask that did that or if they just had him grab his hair and did it like through CGI. But
That was definitely
regardless,
CG.
it
They
looked.
didn't have a mask.
I thought it looked good.
Oh, it was one of the times where the CG worked. Um, yeah, because if you go, I could tell there wasn't a mask or anything practical in that scene because as soon as they cut from the close up to the side profile shot, when he's holding his head, he's just holding his hair.
Yeah.
It's just the actor holding his head. So that's why I don't think it was a mask or anything practical. I think it was just CG.
Well, another thing that I did that I must not have paid attention too much to movies when I was a kid because a lot of these things I didn't realize when they do when J and K do end up going to his house to interview his wife and she makes them the lemonade. Will Smith takes a drink and
Oh, yeah.
spits it back in. I never realized it's because there's no sugar in it.
I didn't know that either. I just thought she made a terrible.
Really bad lemonade.
But it makes sense. It is terrible because there's no fucking sugar.
It's literally just lemon in water.
It's just a good, a nice little detail that they that made that scene pay off. But you don't realize it because you would realize it if you're an adult and watching it. But as a kid, that's just one of the things that would totally go over your head. It did. It went over my head.
Yeah. You know, I mean, going through the whole plot of this movie, there's so much with the galaxy and the Archelian race and the morgue and all that stuff. But the whole continuity of this story moves along so quickly and so seamlessly. It's hard for me to find a spot of this movie that wasn't enjoyable or where I was kind of like taken out of it in any way. I was like, I try and be critical when I watch movies for the show, and there were like I had a lot of trouble finding things to be super critical about with this movie. I was kind of honestly blown away considering it came out almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm gonna put this in, through watching this again. I have put this in my movies that I consider perfect. Uh, Even though it does have very small critiques, I just find like there's nothing that I would add that would make the movie more enjoyable, more better. The only thing I would just be more information,
Mm-hmm.
but uh,
Well, if this movie was made nowadays, it'd be 35 minutes longer.
yeah, absolutely, and you would get those moments, that more fleshed out exposition. But yeah, I don't. That's the only thing I guess I would add. But I don't know if that would even make this movie better. I just think it's just been another thing in the movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just think they just what they had was what they did was amazing, and yeah, it's
Now, I did have a question. So Edgar is looking for this galaxy, which turns out is on the necklace is the wrong collar. There we go. Collar of this cat owned by a jewelry store owner who's an alien prince. Now, when you've watched this movie over the years, Did you realize that you can see the cat's name on the collar in the diner after he kills its owner? Because I've never noticed that until this rewatch.
I didn't notice either.
But it's like very clearly it says Orion right under the cat's chin.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely want to bring that up again because yeah, it's definitely his name's on the collar, and there are pictures of that his name with those collars at a particular location that should have been spotted by was spotted by a particular character that if would have put two and two together, this movie would have been a little bit shorter in runtime.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say it's funny. So they keep saying the little alien inside the guy's head said the galaxy's on Orion's belt, and they keep referring to Orion's belt. They show it on the screen. So it's funny, since I watched this movie, if I go outside at night and I look up at the stars, I can never find any constellations
Besides,
except for Orion's belt.
yeah,
I will look up and I'll go, yep, there it is, but I can't find anything else.
I could
And I
find
don't,
like the Dipper, but it's usually the belt I find first.
yeah, and I don't know if it's because of this movie or what it is, but that's always the one that when I look up at night, I'll be like, yep, there's Orion's belt.
Yeah, and yeah, it's one of those things you learn from. I got from a movie. And I guarantee most people know that from this movie.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, what did you think? So obviously, they have to investigate these dead aliens. They go to the city morgue, and you get Linda Fiorentino as the coroner, the Emmy. I'm not a very big fan. I don't think she's the greatest actor or actress.
Mhm.
I I don't want this to come off as super negative, but I think somebody else could have done just as good of a job. Like the only real movie that when I think of her, I don't even think of this movie. The movie I think of is Dogma,
Yes.
which, from what I've heard, she was very difficult on set of that movie, and I think even in years, Kevin Smith has come out saying he wishes he would have gone a different direction. But yeah, even in this,
Yeah, I'm not too sure why they landed on her. I don't know why she got the role because yeah, there's could have been another. It's got to be had to have been another actress that played better with Agent J and Agent K, the two actors.
yeah, because I don't even. So they're doing a whole thing where it seems like her and Jay are like flirting with one another. I get zero chemistry between the two of them. It just doesn't. It just doesn't come off the screen in a believable way.
No, and not the no, not they don't mix well at all. And she doesn't, yeah, she doesn't have good chemistry with any of the lead actors in this movie. And she's kind of just there.
Which is unfortunate because the way the movie is laid out, she is an essential character because she's the one where the bodies are, where the cat is, um, where Edgar's going to end up coming, and they have to try and prevent him from getting it, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I wish they would have gone with a different. I mean, fuck anybody at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you the people behind the sequel also agreed because she is nowhere in this in that one, even though the movie ends with her being part of the organization.
Well, they do in the second one. They do reference her that he says like
Yeah, he's
she
like,
wanted to go back to the morgue or some such nonsense. But
I guess.
the only the only part that I enjoy with her is the neuralizer gag that Tommy Lee Jones keeps doing it, and Will Smith just number one. He always seems to give Tommy Lee Jones shit for coming up with these random memories, and he's like, you got like leave them a little happier than when you found. And
Yeah,
I just love he keeps saying, like, you keep flashing, you're going to give her brain cancer or something like that. And he's like, oh, it's never bothered her before. So clearly they've had other instances where they've had aliens in the morgue and they've had to do this to her.
That totally makes sense too, because if you're, yeah, I mean, if all the aliens are in New York, I'm sure some of them die. Where are they gonna go?
Well, yeah, exactly. They look like humans, they go to the morgue.
And I'm gonna assume that the MIB has, if they're tracking their movements, at least some of the aliens, or so all of them, they have some type of tracking on them. If they know where their whereabouts are, I'm gonna assume they have also have something that monitors their vitals. So the majority of them, they probably do know when they die, but some of them slip through their fingers and they have to deal with it. And I'm sure they have a big presence in morgues.
Well, like I say, it leads to the joke that both you and I have referenced multiple times since we decided we were going to do this movie, and it's when Will Smith keeps saying, like you keep doing this, you're going to give her a tumor, you're going to give her brain cancer or whatever, and then all of a sudden he goes, hey, Kate, you ever flashy thing me? No. And Tommy Lee Jones just flat answer of just that monotone no. And, hey, Kate, I ain't playing with you. You ever flashy thing me?
Yeah,
Like,
and it shows you their acting styles. One being a more deadpan, classic trained, and him being the comedic improv.
well, yeah, Will
Very
Smith
like
just speaks
in
much more
no
brash.
in those moments, I get more of a feel of a 48 hours of like him being the Eddie Murphy and Tommy Lee Jones being the Nick Nolte.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But it's the dryness and just the matter of fact of like, the way he says no is almost like, I'm giving you an answer, don't fucking ask me again.
But he keeps asking and he keeps answering, and he's lying, by the way,
Oh,
because
100%, because you've watched him
just
do
like
it.
he did, which is even more funny.
But it's even when they come out and they're like, oh, the coroner needs a new memory, and Will Smith just looks at him and he goes, make it a happy memory. Like, he's so put off by it.
Because you could tell, like, again, Tommy Lee, he's kind of over it. He's done this a million times. He's kind of burnt out,
Well, because
and
he even says that to Jay when he starts shooting, and he's like, "Oh, there's an Arquillian battlecruiser," and he goes, "There's always an Arquillian battlecruiser or a Carillion death ray or something that's going to wipe out life on this little planet. But the only way these people go about their lives is they don't know about it." So you get that sense of like, yeah, this is just a daily occurrence to him. Whereas Will Smith, it being his first day, it's literally like the world is going to end. And Tommy Lee Jones is like, no, it's just a Tuesday.
yeah, you don't realize the world is always on the brink of ending, and we always stop it. But yeah, yeah, and
And
it
then
shows all over his face.
he just has that look of like, I'm so over this. And when I was younger, when I would watch this, it would always kind of surprise me at the end when he decides what he wants. But like when I watch it this time, I'm like, if you really paid attention, you could tell a mile away what his intentions were.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're paying attention to everything that's going on in the dialogue and all that, the subtle, reading between the lines and all the subtleties and whatnot. Yeah, for sure. And it definitely through your rewatch, you'll notice it a lot more. And yeah, man, I didn't really realize that until rewatching it at a older age. That's yeah, he was training his replacement.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean they're kind of at their wits' end now because the Arquillians have given them 1 hour to return the galaxy or Earth will be destroyed. And they have Edgar's ship, so they have to figure out where he's gonna go, and I just love it. It comes back to the World's Fair where they have the UFOs on the structures and whatnot. And as usual, the two veterans, Zed and Kay, are just ignoring Will Smith like, we're going to figure this out. And the way he gets them to pay attention is he just yells over, excuse me. And he just goes, hey, old guys.
Which I took. Yeah,
And he's
I
just
love
like,
that full circle
do,
moment there.
do those still work?
Hmm. Yeah, it was a tip of the hat to the writers. I think they did a good job with putting that in, peppering that into the story, and having it be a big part of the finale of the film. That was great. I love when
Yeah, because
movies do that.
how does he say, oh, those are real UFOs and the World's Fair was just a cover up? Yeah, why else do you think we had it in Queens?
Yeah, and they didn't like put it in your face to where like this is going to be a big part of the movie. Because some movies will do that. They'll introduce a MacGuffin or something that's going to be a part of the final act, but they
And
do it
yeah,
in such a in your face way. I love how they didn't do that.
yeah, some movies might as well look right at the camera and go, did you pay attention to what was just said? Because that's going to come back later.
Hmm.
But yeah,
And
it's
this is one of the moments where they didn't do
when they go and finally Will Smith gets his gun. He doesn't have the fucking little cricket anymore.
that. And again, why why would you give someone that powerful ass gun if you don't know how it works? He didn't
Dave,
explain it.
nope.
He didn't tell him like
But
brace
he,
yourself.
but even the one at the end, he doesn't know how it works, and yet they have to turn them on to like charge them.
Right? How you know where the fucking on button is? It should have been a thing where he's trying to look for it, and Kay tells him. That would have been a little funny little improv moment there. But no,
Or like
there
your
it is.
the safety's on type joke.
Or you got it backwards or something. Something.
Yeah. No, they very easily just shoot this thing down. I did like that they did kind of like the Back to the Future as the ship is crashing and Will Smith keeps looking over like Marty would look at Doc when the car's coming at them.
Yeah, yeah. And Kay is just
He's just stone faced, not moving
acting
an
as if
inch.
he already knows nothing's gonna touch him.
Now, I'll be honest, I think the CGI of the bug at the end doesn't look that bad.
I think it holds up. I didn't look at it. It took me out of it. I wasn't looking at it like, oh man, this is kind of blurry. It looked actually really good. I'm not
My
gonna lie.
one question though is when so he eats the guns, Tommy Lee Jones gets eaten because he wants to go get his gun.
Eat me. Eat
Eat me.
me. All right. It's like, what are you doing, bro?
But then the way Will Smith gets his attention is apparently this is the most rusted dumpster of all time because he just kicks a giant hole in it and starts
Yeah.
stomping on cockroaches. Now, throughout the movie, you saw cockroaches come out of like Vincent D'Onofrio's sleeves. And
I've had a couple times.
at one point, Tommy Lee Jones described him as a cockroach.
Mhm.
So, are we to understand that cockroaches on Earth are somehow aliens and related to him, or does he just take a special liking to them? I don't. Were they trying to insinuate that there is some kind of a connection there?
I think, yeah, they definitely established that there's a connection between him and cockroaches, maybe as if they are a distant relative to him. Because he definitely was feeling each crunch as if he was kind of feeling the pain in a
Yeah,
way. So there's definitely some type of connection going on that we don't know about.
that's what I thought. But again, it's not something that's ever really vocalized, so you kind of have to read between the lines, which
Hmm.
we do with a lot of this movie. Like you said, not everything's explained. And somehow by shooting Tommy Lee Jones by shooting from inside him splits him in half. I'm not sure how that works, but sure, let's go with it.
Whatever the gun, I guess the gun can. That's why it's his favorite. He likes the gun. It could do shit like that.
Yeah. How'd you go get your gun, huh? I like
Gotta be a
this
reason
gun.
why he likes it. Yeah, gotta be a reason.
And then they're sitting there, they're covered in for the movie, what just looks like fucking KY jelly.
Yeah, some type of clear.
And I do like that Tommy Lee Jones just goes, not bad for your second day of work, huh? And at that moment, they're almost eaten. Linda
Yeah,
Fiorentino picks up the other gun, kills the bug. And That's kind of the end of it. Then we find out
Or
she just picks it up and fires.
all right, I guess the gun was already on. She didn't have to turn it on. Or, I guess
Yeah.
anybody knows how to turn on weapons in this universe.
But yeah, then we
Okay.
find out that Tommy Lee Jones basically says he wasn't looking for a partner, he was looking for a replacement. And I immediately went, wait a minute. You're going to tell me that you are a member of this organization that polices all extraterrestrial life on Earth, and it's only going to take you 2 days to train a replacement? And we didn't see much training going on to begin with.
Didn't train him at all. Train him by throw him into the fire, I guess. But there's no official training. There's no. They didn't have a book like an official handbook.
No manual, no
aliens. No, again, they didn't have time to do that.
Yeah, it was a very weird thing, but this is when he gets Will Smith finally gets the neuralizer, which Tommy Lee Jones told him you'd get when you grow up, and he neuralizes Kay, and Kay is no longer part of the MIB. And as we said, we see in what they call the dirt sheets, the tabloid magazines, man wakes up from 35-year coma. I'm not a doctor or a medical expert. I don't think they would keep someone in a coma for 35 years or like even allow you to like, because that would just take up money and resources from the hospital. But I could be wrong.
Again, they probably neuralized everybody and gave him new memories, the doctors, and they all made him believe that he was in a coma and he woke up. They can do that. They have you got a neuralizer that can erase and rewrite memories. Anything's on the table. You can explain anything, and I think that's what they did.
But that means does that mean they're erasing 35 years of these doctors and nurses' memories? Because they can't go in and pick and choose what memories they keep and what ones they forget.
No, but I mean, you can rewrite their memories too. So you could just say that you knew them for that long.
Yeah, I guess. But that is a convenient way of ending it because I don't think they originally planned on making this a sequel, but obviously when this thing made $500 million, they're like, hey, we've really got something on our hands, and 5 years later we got the sequel. But again, when they end it, you've got Linda Fiorentino, who's now Agent L, because she was Lauren or Laurel or something as the ME. And why do we have to dig at Dennis Rodman?
Because he was an easy target back then. Late 90s, he was doing some crazy stuff. He was doing some wild stuff, so he was just very low-hanging fruit, easy target.
I know, but it's just he wants to go to the Bulls. Oh, call Dennis Rodman. He's from that planet.
Yeah.
So if you're wild or outlandish, you're automatically an alien?
Dude, so many Man, 1,500 aliens they're all in New York, and it seems like almost every other celebrity is an alien.
Seems like it.
Like every other one. But yeah. I like how Will Smith switches his suit up. He gets a special suit.
But again, you go to the second movie. But in the second movie, he's back to wearing a regular suit with a regular tie.
Yeah, yeah. They definitely brushed that last scene under the rug there. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, that I don't understand. Like that was just a wrong choice, man, with that. But again, they definitely didn't plan on making a sequel because they didn't really continue with much of the things that they built at the end of this movie.
Now, having gone through the movie, and I said that, in my opinion, Vincent D'Onofrio was the MVP. I can't praise him enough for the job that he did in this movie. I also think that Rip Torn as Zed was a very underrated addition to this movie. I think without him, it would have had a very different feel. Like his presence, his voice, just the way he kind of commanded the scene. I think he was an excellent choice to play that character.
Yeah, he wasn't the stereotypical like police chief, but he definitely was like that role.
No, the only time you ever got that police chief type vibe where the police chief would yell was when the worms are like running away or whatever. That's the only time he really yells.
Yeah.
whereas everything else is just a calm discussion between the three of them and all the little. I didn't talk about it when they first get Will Smith to sign on, and he's like, first of all, you guys picked me, so you recognize the skills, but I don't want anybody to be calling me Junior or Sport or Tiger or anything. All right, and he's like, all right, whatever you say, Slick.
Right? And then Rip called him Tiger.
Yeah, go get him, Tiger.
Yeah, no, I definitely liked his performance. In the scenes that he was in, wasn't in too many of them, but I did enjoy the scenes that he was in when we had him. And again, yeah, I'm glad that they didn't make him because they totally could have made him more of that angry boss type of role.
Well, you know what he did?
Yeah.
So maybe Zed got tired of the MIB, took a neuralizer, and went and changed people's memories to make them think that he was an all-star dodgeball player by the name of Patches O'Houlihan.
Me, bro. I went down it. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
But yeah, I mean that kind of takes us to the end of Men in Black. I really don't have much more in my notes to go over because, as I told you before we started recording, I didn't take that many notes because I realized I've seen this movie so many times. I could almost do it with my eyes closed front to back.
Mm.
So unless there's something that we didn't touch on that you wanted to bring up, I think we can move into our final thoughts.
Let's see. Oh, we didn't talk about one of my favorite scenes was with Frank Pug.
Oh yes, Frank.
I just love the I love the voice of the dog. I love like they chose a pug and like the technology that they were using for him to move his mouth. I think was pretty good. A lot of movies where the dog has to talk like a person. It looks like horrible.
Well, either that or they don't. It's either that or they don't even bother moving the mouth.
Yeah, I'm glad that it holds up in this movie because it was one of my favorite scenes then, and it still is now. I just like that character.
Some of my favorites with him is when Tommy Lee Jones actually starts shaking him, and Will Smith is like, "Oh, what is he? They're rehearsing a play or something."
Yeah.
Or he's like, the dog owes my friend money.
Yeah, I love Frank. And sorry.
I was gonna say who I don't love, and I liked him as kids, but now I kind of find them annoying. Is the Worms?
All the way. A little bit. They kind of remind me like Minions.
Who I also am not a big fan of.
Just annoying, fast talking, fast talking, but you don't understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're unintelligible.
I didn't really hate them. I didn't annoy them, but I tolerated them a lot less than I did when I was a kid.
I mean, when I was a kid, I straight up found them funny.
Yeah. I just, I got some chuckles out of them, but I thought they were absolutely hilarious when I was younger. Not so much now.
Yeah.
But I didn't annoyed by them. Another presence in the movie is in this movie and all the sequels. I guess it's a little bit of an Easter egg. If you notice, there is a couple on a tandem bike with lights, kind of like almost like white Christmas lights. They make an appearance in every single Men in Black movie. I don't know about MIB International. I'm not too sure.
Oh, really? I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah, they're definitely in the first and second and third one.
I had no idea.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, what else? That's it. That's all my notes.
Okay, well, we can move into final thoughts, and I'm the one who suggested this movie, so I'll go first. No, as I said, this was a massive staple growing up. Not so much my parents, my brother and I we watched this movie, probably every other week. It wouldn't surprise me if it was that frequent. And I mean, still 29 years later, I can't believe it's been that long, but it holds up. I mean, it's still funny, it's still intriguing, it still keeps you on the edge of your seat. The story is, I mean, not so much now, but at the time was original. It was a very cool way to do the buddy cop movie with the policing of aliens from other planets. Um, I love the backdrop of New York City because, I mean, it just seems to work for all this type of stuff. The acting is fantastic. Aside from Fiorentino, the chemistry between the big three, Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, and Vincent D'Onofrio, is off the charts. Um, and this was really, between Independence Day and this is really when Will Smith came out of his shell and kind of left that Fresh Prince moniker behind on TV and emerged as a real legitimate movie star. Um, and yeah, it's Tommy Lee Jones just being Tommy Lee Jones, just old, crotchety, yet somehow you still find a way to love him. Yeah, this movie holds a very special place in my heart, and it always will. I would recommend this to everybody, regardless of what type of movie you like. It's got a little bit of everything. It's funny, it's action packed, it's got that sci fi element. And you had called this a perfect movie. I wouldn't go quite that far, but I definitely would call it close, and I would give this movie a solid 9 out of 10.
Mhm. When I say perfect, I mean like not uh um through a critic perspective, just through a personal uh opinion. I
I
just
mean, because I do have a few movies that I would consider perfect, like 10s out of 10.
perfect to me. Yeah, yeah.
This one's close, but not quite there.
Hmm. No, yeah, your score was definitely makes sense. I yeah, to me this is like the gold standard of high which is like a summer blockbuster. Uh it definitely it's one it's I'd say it's the film that absolutely solidified Will Smith as like the biggest movie star on the planet, and it definitely showed you that Tommy Lee Jones is like one of the best just straight men actors on the planet. Uh, the good for me is like the chemistry between Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith. Great, such an odd couple, such a two personalities that wouldn't work if they were almost like the same personalities but two different people. I don't think it would work. It's just these two actors in particular just it just worked and it was just magic. Another thing that I would like to point out is the practical effects, especially with the creatures, the aliens. I think the the detail and the effort into making these creatures was just you could tell um, just by looking at them that it was very tactile and definitely lived in feel of these aliens. It was great. Um, what sucks is that it was 90 around 98 minutes, so the movie moves at light speed, even though you don't really feel it until the end. I think the ending of it towards the end is goes by fast. It's really only the only time you really feel the pacing of it. Overall, though, I think this is just a master class in blockbuster filmmaking. I think it's very stylish, but stylized. It's incredibly funny, suspenseful, it's entertaining, rewatchable. The rewatchability is amazing, and there's a reason why Men in Black for 20, 30 plus years is still a household name. Uh, and I'm giving this movie a 9.5 out of 10.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of where I expected you to come in at. So, with that bringing us to the end of Men in Black and the first episode of our duo mini-series, Juan, I'm going to throw it over to you, and why don't you tell us what we oh my goodness, words are hard, what we will be watching for our next episode.
Okay, our journey through iconic duos continues next week. And this movie is about a pair who, much like a lot of, duo movies, you got these two guys that did not like each other at first, and then they realized that they had a friend in me. Um, which is funny because a friend in me and these two characters, one being a particular nickname for a male organ, and the other one is essentially a nickname of a popular sex toy. Anyways,
Dude, I never put that together.
that's right.
You've ruined the sanctity of this movie.
We're heading to the toy box for our next week. Our movie is Toy Story.
Well, this is one movie that I can confidently say it has not been a long time since I've seen this, as I have two very young children.
Oh, they seen the first one? They seen the first one?
They've seen all of them.
Really?
But yeah, they love them. So I will still obviously be watching this. I will be watching this on my own so that I can take my notes and actually review it properly. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, again, I've seen this so many times, and it still has never really gotten old for me. And every time I play it, I hear those few notes of Randy Newman, and I'm a little kid again watching this movie. I'm super excited to watch this movie.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a minute since I've seen it. For some reason, I rewatched the sequels more than the first one, but I do like the first one has a very special place in my heart, and I am very excited to rewatch it after a few years of not seeing it.
All right, well, you heard it here. Join us next week for our next duo movie that will be Toy Story. So, in wrapping up, we want to thank everybody for listening, and we would like to ask you guys to rate and review us. A 5-star rating would really help us grow the show and reach out to a larger audience. And as always, give us a follow on our socials, which will be posted in the show notes. And until next time, thanks everybody for listening, and thanks for subscribing. Take it easy.
Peace.